We are back to business. This is Kate Rista, and we are once again streaming StoryLoom, and we're streaming Flower Shop for Heroes. Our stream has been a little wonky over here because we are actually on vacation. It sounds like that. You have to like raise your hand up in the air and sing a little bit while you say it. So one of the things I was talking about is that basically we have two different two different branches going. One is if you chose to freak out when you saw the ghost, then you got to meet the royal mummy. If you chose to be chill when you saw the ghost, you got to hang out with the ghost. So today we're writing we're writing the branch where you actually got to meet her royal mummy. So clicking on over, we're going to go up, and what we see in here is that the first scene that we wrote is going to be very similar to the other scene. We're just going to be subbing in the mummy. So going through, we can start building out that scene where Stariel is talking to the mummy. And once again, if you have any problems with the stream, just let me know. It's been a little wonky over on my side. So we're going to start in on the scene 2, which is with her royal mummy. And so we just, basically Stariel just said, you might be wondering how I got here. And so now we're putting in that background of the royal mummy, and the royal mummy is in the crypt with you, right? And the royal mummy says, actually, all right, and you'll see that we're actually just going to build a very similar scene. So this one's going to get a little boring because we're going to basically go back and forth, pulling in different things here. So we know that Stariel will be next in the scene, and because we had that, I flipped Stariel upside down, and I did that with a background. It's not our normal text dialog boxes that we add. In this case, we have Stariel upside down as background, and then we're adding text directly in there instead of using our dialog boxes like we did with Her Royal Highness. So I'm going to go back to that scene 1. I'm going to scroll over here. I'm going to copy some of this dialogue, and we can pop it in here, and you can see what it looks like. So it's basically going to be doing a similar thing where we go back and forth in dialogue. We're going to do fast cuts between the two. And because every time we do our back and forth dialogue, we want to make sure that it actually is going along quickly. So Stariel says, I know, I wasn't expecting it either. You see, I just traveled through the deepest, darkest dungeon, battling the unimaginably evil, devilish devil of all time, and past the rainbow sludge that I don't want to talk about. I conquered the sexistest wizard of all time. Now we're going to add that dialogue back in, but we do have to add a background in this case because we were using Stariel as a background. So we will cut to the crypt being the background, and we'll have that dialogue being Her Royal Highness. And when we go back to that previous scene, we can see that she's... Oh, that wasn't Her Royal Highness. That was the sexistest wizard interrupting with a solid, that's what she said. So we can go back over here. We can change it to the sexist wizard being in a dungeon cell. And we'll find the sexist wizard in here. And the sexist wizard says, that's what she said. And then we'll have the background back again, which we'll use for Stariel. And just a reminder that the reason we were using that Stariel as a background, because it was kind of a workaround to make things a little easier on me, because I just took Stariel, who just looks normal, normally looking at you, right? And I just flipped him upside down in Photoshop. And that just makes for a funny part of the story. So right now we have Stariel upside down, and basically Her Royal Highness, the mummy, he's explaining to the mummy why he's upside down. So if you see over here, we'll go back there, we'll go back to the mummy, and Stariel says, and also avoided some business transactions with a dude named Josh. So now we'll add in the cell where Josh is, in the dungeon cell. Boom! And we'll add some text over the top of Josh in the dungeon cell. And in that scene, we had Josh say, avoided, more like missed out on some great investment opportunities. So you can see that sometimes when you branch, similar things can happen. So you don't have to reinvent every single scene as you're writing if you're branching. You can reuse some of those scenes, but what you're going to see is like as I reuse it, something is going to happen with her royal mummy that's totally not going to happen with the ghost, because the ghost is a friendly ghost and her royal highness, the mummy, is not a friendly her royal highness mummy. All right, so avoided, more like missed out on some great investment opportunities. So we'll head back over there into the dungeon cell. Storiel upside down says, and finally, I found the princess. So this is where we're going to start to switch it up a little bit in the language, particularly because the next few lines we want to sound more regal. More regal. So let's have Storiel upside down saying, ding, ding. And finally, I found the princess. And then now we have Her Royal Highness. We're adding that crypt background since they're talking by the crypt. And in our scene 1, she said, the ghost said, oh, hey, that's great. I'm so proud of you. Wait, where is she? Okay. So the mummy would say something more like, Her Royal Highness. Add some dialogue. Let's see. Oh, how wonderful, my darling. I'm so happy you found her. And, alright, so, oh, how wonderful. I'm so happy you found her. And then Storiel can ask something along the lines of, the mummy can say, where is she now? See that little difference in not only my voice, but also in the voice on the screen, in the text. All right, so where is she now? All right, and Storiel, weirdly as a background. So remember, we have Storiel as a background just because we flipped him upside down. And Storiel upside down. If you're using a background and you want text over a background, you just click that T button and pull the text over. And that, Your Royal Highness, is a whole other story. It is beyond belief, beyond understanding, beyond good. He's going to be a little bit more formal. And she says in reply, she says something along the lines of, oh no, is it bad? Like that's what the very spooky ghost says. In this case, we're going to have her say something along the lines of, pick her character, find her character, and there she is. And we need to make sure we add that background, remember, because we're switching back and forth between our backgrounds. And get her in the crypt. And this is this is going a lot faster than yesterday because we are we're making a very similar scene to our other scene. We're just doing a different branch, so you can see the differences. So that, Your Royal Highness, is a whole other story. It is beyond belief, beyond understanding, beyond good. And Her Royal Highness can say something along the lines of, oh no, oh no, I hope. What would she say? She would say, Her Royal Highness might say, oh, how terrible. Just like she said, oh, how wonderful. Now she says, oh, how terrible. I hope she, let's see, what would she say? Oh, and this is a whole other story. It is beyond belief, beyond understanding, beyond good. Oh, how terrible. I hope she I cannot believe she treated you so poorly. You, a hero. So the thing that we know is there's some extra things coming on in here that kind of implies that she knows something more than she's letting on, because she says, "Oh, how terrible! I cannot believe she treated you so poorly. You, a hero." Now Stariel is distracted though by what she's saying, because she's saying, "You're a hero," and he's paying attention to the hero bit, right? And then we can have him start going into how the princess is the villain. I think he's going to say that completely differently, so let's focus on him saying that differently. So we'll add our background over here, and we have Stariel upside down, and Stariel can say, "You, a hero." So Her Royal Highness says, "You, a hero," and he says, "I know. I cannot believe it either. It is a story that will make you..." Let's see, what will it make you do? It is a story that will make you shudder in disbelief, right? Maybe... I think we might be. Let's see how this goes. All right. And that stream got slowed up again. Oh no. Say, stream, keep up with us. Why do you keep going so slow? You can do it. We believe in you. All right. And we'll see if it catches up here. It is a story that will make you shudder. It is a story that will make you shudder, that will make you cry, that will make you weep tears. Okay. And all right. I've almost got this pulled back out for y'all. And let's see. And give me one more second. That stream is mocking me. All right. Here we go. Okay, so it is a story. Is it shudder or shutter? Shudder? Shudder? It is a story that will make you shudder or shudder. Will you be shuddering like a window? Alright. It is a story that will make you shudder, that will make you... Alright, here we go. And we are fixing the stream for you so you can actually see again. I dost not know why it mocks you, but it does. And so we must fix it. We must. Alright, so we are close. Let us see. Alright, so in the world of interesting things, I was talking to my friend Marin, and she is headed over to the Ashland Shakespeare Festival today to see some shows. And if y'all have been down there, my son was just recently there at one of the shows too. And they've been doing a lot of really good plays this year, and I want to see them. So... okay, did we figure out if it was Shudder? It is Shudder. We also have Blubber. Thanks for figuring that out while we were fixing that stream, Jeannie. All right, so I know, I cannot believe it either. It is a story that will make you shudder. Hey, let's play with that. Let's say Shudder, Shudder, and Blubber. We'll use them all, Jeannie. Thank you. A story that will make you shudder, shudder, and blubber. And then, of course, since he's talking to Her Royal Highness, I'm pretty sure Her Royal Highness does not blubber. So she's going to make sure and tell him that, because she is royalty. And there we go. Pull this one over. Her Royal Highness. I do not, capitals, blubber. And we'll bring that background back for Upside Down Stariel. And Stariel will say something along the lines of, forgive me, my queen, forgive me. Me, my queen. All of the blood is traveling. Traveling, what is it? All the blood is traveling to my head and away from my heart, which is wounded, torn beyond repair. Because you see the princess. 1, 2, 3. One more thing of text. Is the villain. Dun dun dun. And Jeannie knows we need that, so let's add a sound effect in there. Add a sound effect, and that's our reveal sound effect. And we've got that in there now. And we'll have the Her Royal Highness, of course, being absolutely shocked, terrified, and utterly dumbfounded, but not dumb. We will have her say, "Oh no." Oh no. All right. So you can remember at the end of this last chapter, where we wrote for the ghost, we had the reveal that the princess was the villain, and in this one we have we just did the reveal that the princess is the villain if you were talking to the mummy. Just some slightly different voicing. And then as we come over here, if we remember scene 3 that we were working on yesterday, Stariel he's going to go back and tell the story of what happened, right? So he says, "Let me tell you what happened. I still can't believe it. I'm totally devastated. I walked in the door and said, 'Princess, no!' And a gigantic Venus flytrap hangs over the princess. Its jaws are open wide, its tendrils are reaching down, and is about to eat the princess's delicately feathered hair and head, which she clearly needs. You know what you have to do. You're a hero." Okay, so the thing that I thought about a lot yesterday was that we basically have had the princess calling Stariel into the room, into the castle, further and further into the dungeon for the last few chapters. So she wanted him up here. So I am going to make an argument that I think what we should do is she wasn't trying to do her transformation with him. She wants to do her transformation, but she's trying to trick him and get him all tied up, right? So she's acting like she's all tied up. So we're going to do some edits here to that, and then tomorrow we'll do a cleanup and make sure that everything actually works all together. And you'll be able to see that play through. So the thing we're going to come back to and edit is the princess wanted to trap Stariel, right? So let's write that down. So you can see the preview of what we just worked on. Because one of the best parts of working on a interactive fiction novel is you actually get to see what was happening with what you're working on. So I am picking the current scene, and I'm going to set the story variables for Mummy, even though it doesn't particularly matter for this scene. I'm going to load the preview so y'all can see it. And while that's loading up, it's a going. I'm going to move myself out of your way. And give it one more second here. It's still going. All right, now there you see her sitting there across the way. She's her Royal Highness, yeah. We're gonna see her bigger, 'cause I'm moving this. Here we go. And, alright, let's see her Royal Highness. So her Royal Highness says, so he just, Storiel just said, if you remember at the beginning of the scene in scene 1, he said, you might be wondering how I got here, because he's hanging upside down, remember? And so now let's look back at that preview. And, whoops, I disappeared your preview. Sorry, I'll bring it up again. Preview, dink. Current scene, dink. Story variables, dink. Preview, dink. Sound effects, dink. Loading, dink. And here we go. So she says, actually, I know, I wasn't expecting it either. You see, I just traveled through the deepest, darkest dungeon, battling the unimaginably evil, devilish devil of all time, and past the rainbow sludge that I don't want to talk about. I conquered the sextest wizard of all time. That's what she said. And also avoided some business transactions with a dude named Josh. By the way, he probably shouldn't say dude, but we'll fix that later. Avoided, more like missed out on some great investment opportunities. Now what you saw there was we can still edit this here. We don't actually have Josh in there. So right here, where Josh is supposed to be, we forgot to add him. So let's go over here and go into added, and we can add that dialogue and copy it and pick Josh out from our list. So this is one of those reasons that we preview, because we can see what things look like. And there we go, we added him back into the list. Avoided, more like missed out on some great investment opportunities. And finally, I found the princess. Oh, how wonderful, my darling. I'm so happy you found her. Where is she now? That, Your Royal Highness, is a whole other story. It is beyond belief, beyond understanding, beyond good. Oh, how terrible. I can't believe she treated you so poorly. You, a hero. I know. I cannot believe it either. It is a story that will make you shudder, and blubber. I do not blubber. That would be a good chance for us to get her mad, by the way. So let's get her mad. I'm going to go over here and change her to angry, by the way. So forgive me, my queen. All of the blood is traveling to my head and away from my heart, which is wounded, torn, beyond repair, because, you see, the princess is the villain. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, no. Thanks for playing. So that was the end of that scene that we got to. And then now we can move over in our scene list over to scene 3. And that was traveling us back in time to the past with the princess, right? And you might be getting a little meta there for a second while we fix this. So the past with the princess. So we had... The one thing we wanted to make sure that we edited today was that we wanted the princess to be trapping Storiel. Like, that was her whole goal from the beginning. She's not trying to do the transformation here, but she is going to do a transformation. We just are not going to have her do it right now. It's not like he's interrupting, because she's been calling for him for like the last 4 chapters. That doesn't actually make any sense, what we were doing last night. There you go. Thinking. So she goes, it's okay, I saved you. You, yes, me. So maybe instead the princess says you. Instead of you, like she's gonna be completing a sentence, she just says you. And then he says, yes, me. Let's still go with an idiot. I think we can actually use that. Okay, you idiot. What? No, your heart breaks. She could not have called you an idiot. She's your true love, your only love and stuff. You look behind you for an idiot, but no one is there. Me? Yes, you. Alright, so we said she's not going to be doing a transformation. Let's copy this, because it always feels weird to be getting rid of stuff that you wrote. I'm just going to copy it and drop it into a notes thing. and right here. So he says, me? Yes, you. So you, yes, you. And I'm gonna move this over so that y'all can see it a little better. So you, yes, you. And let's transition this, and there you can see a little better. All right, so she says, you, yes, you. I was, let's see if I can get it to erase. I'll just do this. Okay, so she's going to say something along the lines of, you, yes, you. I've got you right where I want you. And then Stariel, not getting it, can say something along the lines of, I've got you right where I want you to. And the princess can say something like, no, you idiot. And just for extra flavor, your heart can break a little more. Your heart can only take so much. And so she says, no, you idiot, your heart breaks a little more. I am, it's all been a ruse, a trick, a trick. Okay, slow down. You're losing me a bit here. I'm losing you, more like you're losing me. Out of nowhere, the sharp tendril of the Venus flytrap grabs you by the ankles and whips you up into the air. Your sword clatters to the ground. Your mouth opens wide in disbelief and terror. In terror, in horror, in, well, kind of annoyance. So now you're upside down again, and you say, let me down right now. The ghost, and then, okay. So we had some ideas here about what we wanted to do next, and we fixed some of these about we did finish the mummy section. We still got to make some edits there, but we got a good start. We basically are going to finish this with now he's up in the air, and the princess needs to say something about, this is her big villain reveal, right? Like, this is her chance. Now that he's all tied up, he's upside down, she gets to say her bit, right? So let's have her say her bit. And basically, I think what we can do is we can have her say her bit and storm out of the room, and then Stariel can finish the chapter hanging upside down. Okay? So her bit is, so Stariel just said, let me down right now. And the princess says, never. I'm done being, she's always being like captured. I'm done being captured, kidnapped, sold for butter. And I think that with a line like that, you got to have Stariel interrupt and say something along the lines of, yeah, that one was a little weird. So, I'm always in dangerous peril. Hanging over cliffs. Did you know that my chiropractor said that is not a healthy Maybe not my therapist. She could have a therapist. So my therapist said that is not a healthy way to go through life. Tied up and screaming, help me. And Starry, we can fix some of this later, remember. This is just us getting down the idea of what we kind of want to say there. So Starriel upside down can say something along the lines of, so she says, tied up and screaming, help me. Well, when you're tied up, what else would you be screaming? And because Stariel's totally not getting what's going on here, right? And so let's give him one more line here. Ding, ding, ding. All right, we're back in the crypt, and move this over. We have these a little too far down. And so now he's saying to the princess, well, when you're tied up, what else would you be screaming? How about not getting tied up in the first place? How about not needing to be saved? How about not needing a hero? And then this is going to like blow Stariel's mind, right? So he's going to say something along the lines of doo-doo-doo ding. He's not going to say doo-doo ding, but he's going to say something similar. So how about not getting tied up in the first place? How about not needing to be saved? How about not needing a hero? And Stariel can say, not needing me, but you're the princess. All right. So you see how we're building out the story. And put her back in the crypt again. And she says, so, not meeting me, but you're the princess. So she's going to say, not anymore. I'm not your little daisy. Flower reference. I'm the villain. Doesn't seem like a very good metaphor when you're like, I'm not your little daisy. I'm the villain. But we'll get to that. And what I think we need to establish here just really quickly is the two things of what is she doing next, right? Like, why did she get him tied up in the first place? Like, why couldn't she just let him be then? And then also, where's she going? So we can do that very quickly by Stariel asking something along the lines of, she says, not anymore, I'm not your little daisy, I'm the villain. And let's not do that. Let's bring over some text since we're using Stariel upside down. And I'm not your little daisy, I'm the villain. My world is crashing down on me. How can you be the villain? Are you working for the evilest wizard of all time? And then she gets to reply. So he's saying, are you working for the evilest wizard of all time? And then she's going to reply, he works for me now. Dun dun dun. I'm done being saved. I'm heading off to Mount Dune. Remember, we have Mount Dune here. I'm heading off to Mount Dune. Now, instead of your princess, I will be your enemy. And because, you know, we're writing Flower Shoppe for Flower Shoppe for Heroes, you know what line is going to come next. So if she says, I will be your enemy, Stariel upside down is going to say, my greatest enemy of all time. And back in the crypt. What should she say? I think instead he could say the greatest enemy of all time. And then what I want to do is, I don't have to do this, but I'm going to add one more scene. Well, no, I'll keep it here. So I can keep it here, where basically now we're back in the crypt, and I'm going to go back to... I think actually this would be a good place to end, because otherwise it's going to get slightly confusing for people. Because basically this will be the end of that chapter, and then when we begin the next chapter, we'll have those branches again of the branch of if you followed the mummy or if you followed the ghost. So I think ending there gives us a good place to end. Let's do a quick preview so we can see again what that looks like for the story that we did so far. I'm gonna get this all settled for you, because that's the thing about and I said it before, but basically anytime you go to you're finishing a chapter or you're moving on to a different scene, or honestly if you're stuck, you can go back and you can replay that scene. And what we're going to do in this case is we're going to replay that scene. That's going to give us some ideas on things that we might want to change or things we might want to do differently too, as we revise tomorrow. Because tomorrow we'll get to clean up chapter 4 and actually make some of this dialogue and some of this language sing a little bit more. We'll probably add in a few more like descriptions and build out the world too as we're going. So let's move it over and get it going so you can see it. All right, so we will preview again, and we're going to preview the current scene and with the story variable of the mummy. Tomorrow we'll preview the whole chapter so you can see what it completely looks like, but there's still some things that aren't working. So let's load that preview and see what we got. All right, we're loading up our preview, and here we go. Get ready for the end of chapter 4. So now remember, both of our branches have led to here. The change you're going to see tomorrow that I want to tell you about is I'm going to change this to the different background that actually reflects him being in the crypt too. So let me tell you what happened. I still can't believe it. I'm totally devastated. I walked in the door and said, "Princess, no!" A gigantic Venus flytrap hangs over the princess. Its jaws are open wide, its tendrils are reaching down, and it is about to eat the princess's delicately feathered hair and head, which she clearly needs. You know what you have to do. You're a hero. You raise your sword and dive into the room, slicing the roots of the Venus flytrap and pushing it across the room, where it thuds into the stone wall with a splat. You roll over to the altar, where apparently the princess was about to be sacrificed to a gigantic Venus flytrap. Of course. Why not add a... Why not? Plants. Are you okay? You reach up and slice the remaining tendrils from around the princess and put her into your arms and pull her into your arms. She is shaking with fear. It's okay. I saved you. You. Yes, me. Idiot. So this would be a good chance for us to have the princess angry. All right. What? No, your heart breaks. She could not have called you an idiot. She is your true love, your only love, and stuff. You look behind her for an idiot, and no one is there. Me? Yes, you. I've got you right where I want you. I've got you right where I want you too. No, you idiot. Your heart breaks a little more. It's all been a ruse, a trick. Okay, slow down. You're losing me a bit here. I'm losing you. More like you're losing me. Out of nowhere, the sharp tendrils of the Venus flytrap grab you by the ankles and whips you up into the air. Your sword clatters to the ground. Your mouth opens wide in disbelief, in terror, in horror, in, well, kind of annoyance. Let me down, right now. Ooh, haha, see how that happened? So that one is called We Didn't Put That Background Over Her. So let's add that other background. See what I'm going over here? And I'm just adding in that background right there. And we'll get that fixed. So now they're back in the crypt. Oh, but she did say, never. I'm done being captured, kidnapped, sold for butter. And then he says, yeah, that one was a little weird. We did it again, so we got to fix that background. And add that one in. This is why you check for those things. I'm always in dangerous peril, hanging over cliffs. Did you know that my therapist said that is not a healthy way to go through life? Tied up and screaming, help me. Well, when you're tied up, what else would you be screaming? How about, with a capital, how about not getting tied up in the first place? How about not needing to be saved? How about not needing a hero? Not needing me? But you're the princess. Not anymore. I'm not your little daisy. I'm the villain. Dun, dun, dun. My world is crashing down on me. How can you be the villain? Are you working for the evilest wizard of all time? He works for me now. I'm done being saved. I'm heading off to Mount Dune. Now, instead of your princess, I will be your enemy. The greatest enemy of all time. Thanks for playing. So that was the end of our 4th chapter. We'll have to think a little bit about if we want to do something a little bit that brings us into the 5th chapter more, or if we want to end there with chapter 4. So we can think through that over the evening, and when we come back tomorrow night, we'll hopefully have a more cooperative stream and a more cooperative brain in order to finish out this chapter in the most cooperative way possible. Thank you all for joining, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening. Peace out. Night.